The Big Blue Tank Engine. It was winter time on the island of Sodor. The Christmas rush was over, but all the engines were still busy as they looked forward to the new year. But things weren't so happy on the Farquhar branch line. Percy was ill. An inspector had come to find out what was wrong with him. Thomas was still in his shed, steaming up and getting ready for work. He was comforting Percy when he saw someone walking towards the shed. It was Emily Helen Hatt, the 4th controller of the North Western Railway. "Morning, Thomas. Morning, Percy." "Morning, sir, ma'am," replied Thomas. "How's your dad?" "He picked up a bug over Christmas," replied Miss Hatt. "The doctor said he'll be alright, just need some bed rest." She then turned to Percy and the inspector. "Looks like some worn out parts to me. He'll need an overhaul. I'll make arrangements for Basil to take him to the works right away," she said. "I hope Percy will be mended soon," said Thomas. "We need him. There's plenty of work on this line, even at this time of year." "I know, Thomas," said Miss Hatt, "but don't worry. I've got an idea to help you." Soon Basil came and took Percy and Miss Hatt away. For the rest of the morning, Thomas and his friends, Toby and Lady, had to manage Percy's jobs as well as their own. Later, Toby was in Tidmouth Yard when Thomas arrived. He was pulling Annie, Clarabelle and Percy's quarry trucks. "Why are passengers so grumpy this time of year?" grumbled Thomas. "You ask for understanding because of a shortage of engines, and all they do is complain about the dirt from the trucks." "I think it's the cold that does it," replied Toby. "They don't have boilers to keep them warm like we do. Anyway, I thought the quarry had closed down for the Christmas period." "It is. The STM is repairing the tracks while nobody's there. They asked me to bring the trucks here, out of the way." Toby was about to ask more when they heard an unfamiliar whistle. "Who's that?" asked Thomas. "Has Miss Hatt found another steam engine to help us?" "Can't be," said Toby. "She wouldn't have found one that quickly." Thomas and Toby looked straight ahead. Then from around the bend came a big blue tank engine. She was a 442 engine with large side tanks, a long boiler and a big bunker. She also had no nameplates or numbers. "Hello," said the jolly engine as she stopped in front of them. Toby greeted the engine, but Thomas was amazed. "Excuse me," he said. "Are you an LB&SCR I3 class?" "Yes, she is," came a voice further back. Then Miss Emily Hatt appeared from the engine's cab. She climbed down and stepped forward towards the engines. "Thomas, Toby, I'd like you to meet my new engine." "I've seen a couple of the i3s back at the Brighton works before I came to Sodor," explained Thomas, "but I thought they were all scrapped." "They were, Thomas, but my father found the original plans in the Hatt archive. We believe they were bought by my great-grandfather, the 1st controller. My father has been part of a team for the last couple of years to build this new engine." "So she's like that tornado fella?" asked Toby. "What's her name?" "That hasn't been decided yet," said Miss Hatt. "My father is in charge of naming her, but he hasn't had the time, what with being unwell at the moment. Until then, we'll just have to call her New Engine." The new engine couldn't wait to get her new name. Her build was finished just before Christmas and all her tests completed, but she wasn't meant to leave the works until February next year. But I decided that she'll come and help here while Percy is away." "Does that mean she's never worked on a branch line before?" asked Thomas. "No, she hasn't," replied Miss Hatt. "But I know you'll both show her the ropes and teach her how to be really useful." Thomas and Toby agreed and set to work with their new friend. As it turned out, the new engine was a very quick learner. She pulled Percy's goods trains with no trouble. Even the troublesome trucks seemed to like her. Thomas and Toby were impressed. and they worked well together for the rest of the day. But tomorrow's another story.